Hi, Travis with Splunk here. Wanted to continue my how does Travis do things inside of Splunk. I'm going to take a simple XML dashboard in this video and convert it over to Dashboard Studio. And that's our new way of building dashboards. And if you have not seen my other video where I built a simple XML dashboard with Nix package info here as the example, I'll make sure to include a link here so you can check that out. So you may ask yourself, how can I find more information about Dashboard Studio, this new way of building dashboards you're telling me about, Travis? Well, it's simple. Well, one simple way, you can go to our documentation, do a Google search, or inside of Splunk, we can actually go from the home page, click on search and reporting. And this is an easy way I found, and click on dashboards. And when you get to the dashboard screen here, you'll see latest resources. And there's example for Dashboard Studio, intro to Dashboard Studio, and then intro to classic Dashboard Studios for anyone that's watching this video and didn't realize there's dashboards. So here, if you click on Learn More under Intro to Dashboard Studio, that will take you to our documentation. And our documentation, I've been using it since 2009. It's great. I still go back to it and help me remember things that I have forgotten. But here we get to learn what is Splunk Dashboard Studio. We get some examples. What can we create? Comparing it to Simple to the new Dashboard Studio and a lot of other information. If we go back here to Dashboards page here and click on Visit Example Hub under Examples for Dashboard Studio, that will take you to this screen here, which is our Example Hub. And our Splunk team who supports the Dashboard Studios has done a wonderful job of including, tiles and navigation here to help you understand the different elements and pieces that you can use in your dashboards. For example, here's chart elements, single gauges and single values, table, other, inputs. And if you wanted to learn something more about one of these, like the single value with coloring input, click on the tile. And this will take you to another page. We'll give you an overview and give you examples of the source code that defines the value or the visualization here. And you can see, the different source codes for the different visualizations. Now, if we go back to home here in a dashboard example hub at the bottom, and we can either scroll down or click on complete dashboards, our team has given you access to dashboards that they've built to give inspire you and give you ideas of what can I really do inside of Dashboard Studio. And I've already got a couple of them pulled up, like Buttercup Games, the basic one. They provide basic, intermediate, and advanced dashboards. So let's take a look at Buttercup Games basic dashboard here, where we can see single values. We've got text, pictures. We have a punch card visualization, even a table visualization here. And you can see the source code even at the bottom. So if you wanted to, we can copy this source code, create a new dashboard, paste that in there, and you can start tinkering with that source code to understand how did they actually do that piece. Or if I like the way that looks, I just want to tweak the search, I can borrow that. I always call it borrowing. When I first started learning how to build dashboards back in 2009, I reverse engineered, people's dashboards and how did they do things. So this is a great way to do that. Now, an example of a more advanced dashboard is our IoT factory manufacturing process here, where we can see, things are changing. We've got the pulses here with yellow and blue and red. We've got different percentages of performance and availability. We've even got a picture of a little truck here. This is all great information that could help your teams, and you can, put it up on a screen in your work area and have that for anyone to look at. And same thing, if you want to look at the source code, it's all right here at the bottom. So let's get into converting an existing simple XML dashboard over to Dashboard Studio. And I'm going to pick this one here because it was in a video, so you can see how I built it. It's not a too complex, so it's a very simple one to start with. You can convert any simple XML dashboard over. And it's very easy, actually. If you look over here by Edit and Export, there's a 3 little dots. Click on that, and you'll see Clone in Dashboard Studio. So I'm going to do that. And we never, replace the existing dashboard, we only make a copy of it, and then you can rename this copy to whatever you want. So I'm going to say Dashboard Studio so I can find it later. I can give it a description. I can keep it, private right now until I'm ready to share it out to everyone else. And then we have a new selection here called Layout Mode. So there's Absolute and Grid. And Absolute is you can put the icons or the single values anywhere in that layout. And Grid is more like the classic. And so I'm going to do the grid for this example to show you, how it looks here. And then I'm probably going to make another video where I build a new dashboard in Dashboard Studio from the ground up. So let's click grid and convert and save. So now it takes us over to our new dashboard in Dashboard Studio. And when you first go into it, it's already in the edit mode. So if I want, or what I'll do here is I'm going to click view, and this is what the dashboard will look like if you give access to anybody else and they're not editing the dashboard. And there is differences here, or there's things that are missing once I start looking at this. So if you saw my other video where I built that Simple XML dashboard, and here it is, I have drill downs, and you can see that they are highlighted in blue. And if I click on installed or configured, you can see the information changes in the second panel. Well, over in the new Dashboard Studio, and this one that I converted over, I don't have a click, that changes blue, but none of this is interactive. Don't worry, we're going to fix that, and I'm going to show you how. The other thing I've noticed, if I scroll down to the bottom here, in the third panel where I have reviewing action, if I go back to my Simple XML dashboard, I had a host selection, which was a multi-select input. That is missing. So, the product team that's behind this Dashboard Studio is doing an amazing job. From where it was at when they first released it to now, they have made huge improvements, and they're constantly working on that. So this is just, I would assume that they are still working on pieces, and new features and capabilities will be coming, and I would assume that the conversion is going to get better. But this is what it is right now, and we can fix it all, and that's what I'm going to show you. So let's click edit, and let's scroll up here, and if you haven't seen the editing in Dashboard Studio, at the top here you have your options for what visualization you want to add, what input selections, or multi-select, or a drop down, or time range if you would like to add, markdown if you like to do that. We're already in configuration mode. That's a little sprocket here, and you can see it's highlighted with the box. And then the pancake or hard drive symbol here is data overview. And what data overview is all of my searches that are powering each panel in this dashboard. And then the last thing here is the source code. So if you wanted to look at the source code, you can do that. So I am going to click the back button. It's off to the right here, and go back to my configuration and click on panel. Now, in the configuration menu on the right hand side, you've got a lot of options, and data configuration is the search that is powering this panel. However, it's unnamed right now, and if I go back to this data configuration here, or data overview, you can see all of my searches are unnamed, so that's not helpful. And that's one of the quirks when it brought the Simple XML, not the save searches, but the inline searches over. It just didn't have a name, so it's unnamed now. So I'm going to click edit and give it a name. And so we'll call this one action stats, because there's a stats count by action. I'm going to click apply and close. Let's call this one package. Wow, I can't type today. Stats. It's because you all are watching me. And click apply and close. And then on the third one, we will say it was more raw logs. So package raw. Let's not call it raw. Just call it logs. And then apply and close. Now, when I click on my different panels, I know which search I will be working on. So let's go up to the first panel here, and I need to be able to add a drill down because that's what we're missing, one thing that we're missing. And as we scroll through the configuration menu on the right hand side, you can put in a title, a description. If you wanted to change the search that's powering this panel, other kind of formatting, add rows and numbers. If you wanted to change the background, you could do that here. You can go transparent or make it a different color. I will show you something here in a second about doing that and the drill down. So column formatting, and then we have drill down settings. So let's click add drill down, and then click no action, which will bring the menu up, and click set tokens. Here we're going to click set another token and give it a token name, which I already know all of my token names for this since I built this in Simple XML, and in my title for the child panels I included the token name there. So the first one will be action 1, and I like to do that for my dashboards when I'm passing a token from one panel to the other, is that helps me make sure that the token is getting passed correctly. And then I'm going to say token value is, and I just clicked in there, I'm going to say value. We could define the field name for row.value, but I don't need to. There's only one field name here that or the first one is what I need. And then if I wanted to add a default value, I could do that. Put a star there, or wildcard. I'm not going to do any of that because I don't need this panel loading when the page first starts. So now I'll just hit apply. And what you'll notice is nothing's changed. And we can scroll down here and verify there is set tokens. So I'm going to click save, and I'm going to click view. And now I can see that my field names or the action values are highlighted. And if I click installed, you can see my token value did get passed and this search is running. So we have one of our drill downs working. And here I'll show you if you change the background on one of these panels. So let's say I go to transparent, and I click save and click view. It doesn't actually highlight the word, it just gives me a box. So if you come in here and you're expecting this word to be highlighted in blue and you don't see it and you're like, oh, what'd I do wrong? Just take a second. It's actually working. So let's go back here to edit. And I'm going to change that back to a just the default setting there. And I'm going to go to the next panel, and we're going to scroll down to add drill down. Click on no actions, click on set tokens, set another token, and let's say package 1, and I want this to be a click value right there. And you can see that in my second panel, or no, my third panel, there is the package 1. So that's the value because I want to pass this package name down to here. So I'm going to click apply and then save and view. And now you can see that my package values are highlighted in blue. If I click on Apache 2, it does change the token name, and I should get some results here. No, I'm not getting any results. Why is that? So I can go over here, and it's still waiting for an input. And if I, and I tried to, troubleshoot by clicking open and search, but then I remember there was a multi-select in my Simple XML dashboard that did not get translated or converted over. So I need to get that in place, because if I go back to edit and look at the data configuration and a search for this, you can see it's waiting for an input for host 1, which was my multi-select. So let's go in here and click on this and click multi-select. So from multi-select, I can click on that and start, updating the configuration. I want to call this host selection. And then you will need to update the token to whatever, if you are converting this from an existing one, you will need to update that token name so that it knows how to pass this information down to your existing search, which, when we looked at it, it was host 1. And then the next, menu configuration here, the next part, you'll see all, which is a static value that I want, but I don't need item 1, 2, or 3. So let's go ahead and remove those. And I also don't need those values down here. And the default value, I'm going to do the all with the wildcard. And now I need to set up my primary data source too, because I had a dynamic search. Since I'm not doing all static, I had a dynamic search that actually provided me my names for the host. So let's click Setup Primary Data Source, and we'll need to create a new search. So from here, I'm going to go back to my Simple XML dashboard that I had. I'll click Edit here. And in here, if I click on the Edit button here and scroll all the way down, I'll find that dynamic search. And you can see right there what I use to give me my host values. I'll paste it right here, and then we'll call this host select. Apply and close. Let's make sure that it is using that, search host selection. Now if I click on save, and I will even click view here, you can see that item 1 and item 2 is still there, so we just need to uncheck those, and then it will use that all. And if I scroll down, still not working. Okay, well, let's troubleshoot this. Now it's saying that the search ran successfully, not the waiting on input anymore, but there was no results. So let's take a look at our search. And come on, sometimes this thing can be, there we go. Oh man, there we go. It could be a challenge sometimes. And you can see we have the star there, and it worked, but I didn't have any values. Let me click on a host name. There we go. And click on this, and I'm still not getting any information. And the reason why is I need host equals here. So here is, I'm getting data now, and it's because I should have had host equals or host equals or. And if we take a look at my Simple XML dashboard and look at the multi-select and the token options I had put in here, I got a little bit fancy showing you some of the cool things that you can do with the multi-select in Simple XML, and I included a token prefix, a token suffix, and prefix values. Now inside of our Dashboard Studio, if I click on multi-select, that kind of configuration is not here in the GUI front end, and I would have to go in and research if I can go to the code and add that information here, which I suspect I should be able to, but I haven't done that. But what I can do to fix this for now is actually go back to, let's say, data overview, and go to package logs and edit this search. And inside of here, I can edit my search to include host, and I'm going to use in like I did with source there. And now it should work. Apply and close, save, view. And if you haven't seen that, the in, so instead of sitting there going host equals or host equals, I can actually skip a lot of that and say host in and then hall dash file. And it will work just like that. Instead of having to type out host equals, I can even say hall dash in the next, server name if I wanted to. And I think it's a lot cleaner to do it this way. Another thing I will point out, if you put this in lowercase, it will break the search as well. So here, let's, there we go. Now it's healthy. I know it's working. And now I'm going to close this. We're going to look at our Dashboard Studio, and we can see we have events now with hall file. And if I click on something like dbus here, it changes my values up here, which will take a second. and I can, remember what I had already selected, but then I can click on these two servers and be able to get the information from those. I can unselect one of them, and you can see now just only HTTP is showing up. Um, Unselected, all would come up, or I can say just the K8s box. So everything is working now like it was in Simple XML, and it looks very nice. Or is it the same? Because if I go back down, and I was thinking about this as I was scrolling up, and look at my output in that third panel, there is a difference. And if you haven't had a chance to see the other video for when I created this Simple XML dashboard, and I'm not sure if I showed the third panel over here, if I click on a package and get that information to pass down, you will see that the output is cleaner. And that's because the visualization that I used over here was an events and not a table. And inside of the inside of the Dashboard Studio, I don't have the option to have just an events where I can just have the raw events show up inside of one of the visualizations at this time. So probably a feature hopefully they'll be bringing into future releases, or I can make this cleaner by actually modifying the search. So let's go to that panel and let's clean it up. So let's click edit and go to that search that's powering this panel, and I'm going to add table, and all I really need is host and underscore raw. So that's going to give me the raw logs here, and I can pick any of these if I wanted to, but that's all I want right now. So I'm going to click apply and close, and now we have a cleaner output of the host name and the raw logs that go with that host name. If we wanted to, maybe we should have done a stats count. There's probably something else that we could have done, but this is what I wanted. This is more in line what I had for the output in my Simple XML dashboard. So just wanted to make sure I showed you that. So if you are building your own or converting a dashboard and you see, that more busier output, you can clean it up. So hopefully you found this video helpful, and happy Splunking.